What's up, everybody? It's Jack and Dan.
And we're going to do an update on the Angels since it's been a couple months.
Yeah, we got these guys a couple months ago from George over at Aquaballs. And we actually have a stream coming up. We haven't done a stream in well over a year. Things have been very busy and everything. But he's going to have us on a stream along with some other YouTubers. It's going to be a good time. It's coming up Sunday. So we thought we would do an update on this tank first because it's one of the things we're going to be talking about is angelfish, because George is a breeder of angelfish. He has an amazing channel, lots of awesome, tanks and fish and everything like that. He also has those little poison dart frogs, right? Lots of cool stuff. So we're going to turn this around. We're going to kind of show you how things have been going since we last did a video on it. And we're going to put links in the description for George. So make sure you check him out and subscribe to his channel, because then when the notification pops up that we're doing the stream, you can click on it and check it out, and you can harass us and make comments and bother us and ask us questions. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, so first thing everybody noticed probably right away when we started the video is this bamboo is doing fantastic, especially on this right side here, right?
Yeah, it's getting pretty high.
It's doing awesome. Part of the reason is the way that this is slanted. On the right, the light is just really close to it, I think. So whenever we're in here, we have this light on. I mean, that side just getting beamed. So we are eventually, we've done a lot of things with the old tank when we had it here, and some other tanks, things we're doing. But we're going to drill some holes through this glass and put some little holders. And eventually, as this continues to grow, we will trim it and we will put it in there. And then, of course, that will stick through, and there'll be even more roots in there and more plants pulling out the nitrates and all that great stuff. But we do that with a lot of our tanks, and it just works really awesome. That's going to be a future video. Not doing that today, however. We're going to kind of let that grow first. So the back and everything, we're just going to let it go. Now, as far as everything else in this tank goes, I'm going to go ahead and turn this light off now so that we can see a little bit better. As you can see, the lights are coming through the pots, how we put the under gravel lights. This is an under gravel filter. It was the original from the 116 gallon that we initially put up here for these guys that ended up leaking like twice. And we decided, hey, we're just gonna use this 75. We're gonna get a new stand, and it's working awesome now. But it does have the same filter. We drilled through that filter. We put some hurricanes in there, as you can see, and some under gravel lights. And they shine up through it. We can change colors and stuff. And of course, we have the star glittery background. We want to make it cool for the angels. So they are doing fantastic. These are blue avatar angels, right, man?
Yes.
And we mistakenly called them green avatar, but there are blue ones as well. George corrected us and said, no, he got these from Dan's Fish, and he bred them. And they were tiny little babies when we got them. They were about half this size. You can see they're getting quite big now.
Yeah, they've grown quite a bit.
And they're doing very well. You can see they're going over there to Jack because they see Jack. They think he's going to feed them. This is a big kind of eucalyptus trunk that we put a whole bunch of Anubias on. We have some broadleaf Anubias here, and we have some regular thin-leaf Anubias. And there's a lot of different kinds of Anubias. Now, that Anubias is doing fantastic. It continues to grow. Look at this one right here. I noticed the other day, look at this one right in the front here. Look at the roots. If these guys stop photobombing, look at the roots coming off that Anubias, man. This one's reaching all the way down to like go to the gravel. Isn't that amazing? So they're doing really good. We're just gonna kind of let them go. We'll probably, kind of move them around or something, or add some more little black rubber bands if we have to or whatever. But I don't think we're gonna necessarily add any more because there's a lot on there. And they're just doing awesome. The angelfish don't bother them or anything like that. Now, we did have some other plants that we did a video on, and they were over here in the corners, right?
Yes.
And we decided with the under gravel filter that we would put these little pots in. George also sent us a couple different kinds of plants. And these guys kind of picked at them, but we were feeding them a lot, and they were doing very well, and the plants seemed to be doing okay. But these guys, these vampire plecos, have a tendency to not be the kind of pleco that climbs up things and go on the glass and stuff like that. Now, there are 3 of those guys in here. The other 2 are probably in the stump in there. You can see the one tail. The angels are photobombing. And they like to hang out in the stump and, of course, in this, little cave here in the front. And we also have caves over here on the side. And you'll notice in this cave, this big sailfin albino tends to just kind of stick her head in there. Well, she does go around and does clean the glass and is very gentle and, you know, doesn't really bother the plants. But those vampire guys just kept kind of trampling over them, knocking them down, pulling them up. And then, of course, when they would start to float, and the angels would pick at them at the top and stuff like that. So these guys are actually kind of aggressive, and we knew that they were, but we were hoping that that would work out. It didn't, unfortunately. The other problem was this guy over here, right, dude?
Yes.
Now, when we initially set this tank up, we had a couple of these guys in here. One survived. He was huge, just like this one. And when it initially leaked, we took him out. This is a marbled royal Farlowella. So they get a little bit bigger than regular Farlowella. They also have a little bit of a thicker body. And they have this huge streamer that comes off the tail. Now, this guy tends to sway his back and forth. It's quite funny. He's not going to do it now because we're looking at him. But he is big. He's quite a bit larger. Now, last year when we were at the Ohio Cichlid Association Extravaganza, here, this guy's putting on a little bit of a show here. We were at the Ohio Cichlid Association Extravaganza about a year ago. And we got 3 of these from a guy that breeds them. They were relatively small, and they were doing okay in here, but they did not survive. We think that these vampires kind of killed them, overpowered them. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. So we didn't have any in here for a while, and we saw this guy up at Best in Pets. Now, this was about 2 months ago, and we figured, you know what? He's pretty big. We put him in here, and he's doing fine. If there are pellets on the ground and well, first of all, him and the sailfin get along great. There's no friction there at all. But if one of these big vampire guys, those are also called galaxy plecos. They're called vampires because of their mouth, but they call them galaxies because of their body. But anyway, they use them interchangeably. If one of them comes over here and a little static starts, this guy really sticks up for himself, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's camouflaged too, so he doesn't really feel threatened. But
Yeah.
he's not shy.
Look at the mouth on that guy. I mean, what a cool mouth. Big, huge whiskers. He just winked at me when you were talking too. Did a little wink. He's kind of a big, tough guy. Much bigger and much tougher than the ones we previously had.
He's cool. He's like, he has a really long tail and like a small head area.
Yeah, I mean, he's really neat. He's, again, a type of sucker catfish. But you could see, I'm going to get a close-up of his mouth. He's got these big old whiskers here. And he does clean the bottom. Again, not really the glass or anything else, kind of goes along the bottom. And he, too, was kind of going over these, bumping into them, and knocking a lot of them out and things like that. So basically, we're just not really going to be able to have those kind of plants in here because we love these galaxies, otherwise known as vampires, and we love this guy right here. And as far as the sailfin, we thought about taking her out. She usually goes in these pots here because she fits through these holes wonderfully, but every now and then she just does this ostrich thing where she sticks her head in there, right? So, but we thought about taking her out and actually putting her in Brutus's tank over there at the gym, right?
Yes.
But we decided to put a bunch of snails in there instead because we're afraid she's just going to get so much bigger. And then, you know, we love her in here because she keeps it so clean. We really don't have to clean this tank at all. Between the Farlowella and the vampires, they totally keep everything in the bottom clean. The plants are doing an amazing job of keeping the water clean. The under gravel filter is doing an amazing job. And she cleans the glass. We have not cleaned this glass in, 2 months? And it's
Probably, yeah.
perfectly clean. We have a magnet. We don't use it in this tank. So since there's such good chemistry and everything in here, we're probably going to keep everything the way it is. Now, as these guys get bigger, we will most likely trade some of them in or sell some. If we take them to Best in Pets, our local fish store, I mean, they'll take some. They'll give us, credit. We get food and some other things like that. So, but I think they're still good for a while in here. Maybe through the winter, we'll see how it goes. You can see the blue kind of comes through on them really, really, really nicely when they go under the light in a certain way and everything. But they are just doing absolutely fantastic. Very little friction. They're over here with Jack. They want to eat. They see Jack over here, and they're like, give us some food, dude. So basically, we do have some of these plants left. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna plant them. It looks like an Anubias leaf fell off too. That does happen once in a while. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just plant them in the top of these planters. We did have some in there and they did seem to last a little longer. We're just gonna take them and put them in there because now that these guys are bigger, they don't really fit in this top area here, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna put the plants in there and then hopefully they'll at least grow out of there. If they don't, it's okay. We're gonna take those little planter guys out and then we'll probably do a little bit of a feeding video at the end. And then you were thinking for Christmas, last year for Christmas, we did the sugar plum fairy video with the Green Lantern tank. I was thinking of doing something with the angels this year for Christmas, like a Hark the Herald Angel kind of thing. I mean, they're angels, right? It would make sense.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do a feeding video a little bit today, but then we'll film a big one, you know, for Christmas, kind of showing them eat and put an angel type of thing. So let's get these pots out of here and stuff like that. And look at this guy. He's so awesome. I mean, I've always loved Farlowellas, but these big marbled guys, these royal guys, they're so cool. And look at him. He just cleans this gravel all day long, goes through there with those big old whiskers. Honestly, if it was just him and the sail fin, this tank would probably be perfectly clean. We don't even need those guys in here, these galaxies. But we love them, and they look great. And, there's no friction right now. There are 3. We're thinking they're all males. Unluckily, we have not seen any type of breeding activity. They do pretty much leave each other alone, but maybe we'll add a few more, see if we can kind of get a female, or maybe we'll just let it go and leave everybody alone since everything's going good. All right, so that wasn't too hard. Jack's buffing out the glass, and they're following Jack. They're like, hey, he's the guy who feeds us. So basically what we did is we just took those guys out of the back and, moved the pebbles around and stuff like that. And same thing over here, took those out. And they're sitting over here, and we'll probably, we're going to keep them. They were like 10 cents. I mean, it was a good idea, right? It was a good idea. It just didn't work out because these guys are rough. I mean, those vampire pleco, they're rough. They don't play. They mess around a lot. They play a lot. We cleaned up this glass on the top and bottom here and everything. And basically what we did is this is the Ludwigia. Now there is one piece of wisteria left right there, I believe. The west of the wisteria, and then a few pieces of Ludwigia. And so we're hoping that if we put it up there at the top, it'll grow. Now, obviously, if it does grow and it fills in, we'll be able to trim it, and just keep it short and just fill that front. And then we may use it for another aquarium or something like that. But there's a few left that didn't get trampled or broken by these guys. And where'd that Farlowella go? I saw him going, he's coming around the back here. I mean, you can see that there's a lot of particles and stuff from us picking those up and stuff, but he's getting right after him. I mean, look at him. He's just like, well, I'll clean this right up for you guys. I mean, he's just so interesting. If you've never had a Farlowella, we do really recommend the big marbled ones. I mean, they're magnificent and just so neat to watch. They pretty much can hold their own, get along with everybody. And they don't hide like the smaller ones that we've seen. I mean, he constantly travels around the bottom, and like Jack was saying, he does have a little bit of a chameleon-like tendency. He will change colors. I'm going to turn this light off here. There we go. He does change colors depending on what he's by and everything like that. Like a lot of pleco and catfish kind of do. He'll turn more brown or more light or more beige or whatever. But what a neat guy. Look at the blue. Look at the blue coming through on that guy. Wow. Wow, look at that guy. Now, this guy was one of the ones that was just a tiny bit deformed on the top of the fin when we got him. But he's doing magnificent, and look at the blue coming through on him. There was like 2 that were like that. He's one, and I don't know where the other one is right now. But you can see how well they're doing and how awesome they're doing. What we're going to do is, for those of you who have not seen this tank, obviously we have a lot of lighting effects. What we're going to do is we're going to feed them right now. You want to just throw some food in now, buddy?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, go ahead and throw some in. Just grab those flakes. Let me pause this for a second. All right, so Jeff's going to drop a couple of algae wafers in. We usually put in more. It's funny to watch the angelfish will kind of attack them too. We usually put about 2 on each side, but because we just cleaned it and there's like a lot of cleanup, we're going to just put in 2. But that sailfin will eat a whole one just by herself. And Jack's going to put some, look at these guys. Like, there's Jack, he's got the flakes. Put some flakes. I mean, look at these guys tear into it, man. Wow. There they go. Little monsters. Yeah, you see that one's got that top fin a little messed up there in the middle, but he does fine. He's nice and big and fat and happy. Let that go for now, because I did notice when we stir a lot of things up and work on a tank like this, you know, they'll have a tendency to eat some of those particles and stuff like that. So they might not eat as much as they normally would. But yeah, I mean, look how fast it cleared up. It was cloudy, you know, when we kind of pulled those guys out of there and stuff, but it just cleared up right away. This under gravel filter with these 4 huge stacks just rock. And there's some particles on some of the plants and things, but again, those plecos will clean most of those off. The only thing is they don't really clean the glass except for the sailfins. Sailfins are notorious for being amazing glass cleaners. So you can see how these guys are doing underneath those lights. Look at that blue coming through on them, especially when they turn a certain way. Magnificent. We love these guys. We're hoping we can keep them all in here pretty solid for another few months through the winter. And then what we will probably do, like we said, is, you know, get them out of here in the spring, get some out, trade them in. Just absolutely love how this tree is doing as a centerpiece. Love it. And this Anubia is doing so well. And again, look at that one right there. Look at that root. That thing's going to reach the gravel pretty soon. Now here comes that vampire. They'll start coming out from the tree, all 3 of them, when we put in the algae wafers and the food. And they'll start with that Farlowella go. Yeah, he's going crazy. He'll grab usually one of those for himself, those algae wafers. And then the sailfin will grab another one. You can see him right there. Let me get a close up of this guy. Yeah, he'll just work on one of those all by himself. Look at him. Nom, 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 nom. Look at that. Look at the mouth on that guy. So neat. And then these guys will like pick at it and stuff. They won't really fight over it. If the sailfin has the other one, they'll usually let her alone. She's in one of the vases though. She's freaked out with me. She's a little more shy. So with me reaching in there, getting those pots out of there, she went in here and she'll sit inside of these vases and kind of fly around, and you'll see her go like by the holes and stuff. We've done a lot of videos and shorts like that. You can see these guys coming over here to this Farlowella trying to take his wafer, and he holds his own. He's like, no. Yeah, he's a tough dude. But these guys will go around here, these vampires, and they'll clean up any kind of bits and pieces that fall and all that. And like I said, those other ones will probably come out soon. They may be a little wigged out too because we were working on a tank. Look at these gorgeous angels though. He turned right toward the camera. Did you see that? He's like, what's up? Yeah, but we might put a little more food in them. Anyway, we'll do a little video that kind of shows the night lights just for those of you who have not seen them. Really cool, like under gravel effects that come through the potholes here, and the back starry lights and all that kind of stuff. And we'll put that at the end. All right, so that was pretty easy, went pretty smoothly, right? Way to go, team. We usually knock those kind of maintenance things out in about a good 15 or 20 minutes. Again, we are going to be doing a video where we drill some holes in that glass in the back for 2 reasons. One is for the bamboo that we're going to have to obviously start replanting because it's going to be touching the ceiling pretty soon. The other is to cut down on some of the residue and splashing. We're going to put the air tubes actually through there, kind of like we used to have when we had that piece of metal on the 116. We just never really got around to it. We just pushed them up there, but we noticed there's a lot of like calcium deposits and stuff. So we're actually going to be doing, and we've drilled through glass in a lot of videos. We've done a lot of videos on it, but we're going to show you guys again if you've never done it. It's very easy to do. Glass bits nowadays are $5-10. They're not very expensive. We got a huge one that we're going to be using, and we're just going to basically drill through that. And when we trim this bamboo, it's going to go in there, and then we're also going to run the lines through it. So it'll be a little bit tighter up against the back and stuff like that for the splash. But anyway, make sure you check out the links in the description. You want to check out George's channel. Again, in a few days, we're going to be doing a live stream with them, talking about angels. The other thing is all those guys, Marco, George, and Chewy, they're all metal guys, right? Kind of like us. So we're probably going to be talking a little bit about metal. They always have questions about, you know, my band days.
It'll be a fun guys conversation.
But it's not going to be all like just metal guys and stuff. So ladies, come on over too. It'll be a fun time. But anyway, check out this footage of the lights. and the feeding at night and all that kind of stuff. I'll put it at the end here. We'll see you guys soon on the stream, hopefully in a couple days.
What?